Hello and welcome to Defense India podcast. And before we start this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Defense India podcast. Well, we've been gone for a very long time, apparently for at least 3 to 4 months, and now we are back and back with Vikinant Chappa. He has been in a hiatus and changing locations. He is in a new location altogether now. So, how is the new location treating you, Vicky?
Nothing secretive, Akash. I'm in Coorg in my native place, actually. So, I'm not in hiding or anything. Just wanted a break from the city and, writing and stuff like that. So, I thought, let me come back. And then I took a slight break and now back to what I love doing the most, writing.
Exactly. Let's not make our viewers wait, and let's just go into the matter, as they say. So, first of all, very recently, the incident that happened in West Bengal, the incident we see Taliban like, judgment being, carried out in the middle of the street in West Bengal, and after there was a huge uproar in the social media. The Trinamool Congress MLA, comes out and he says, "Hey, it's an Islamic country, it's an Islamic state, so we'll follow Islamic rule or the Sharia rule." So, the social media has been abuzz after this, incident, and Trinamool Congress very, what can we use the word very easily, is very tight-lipped about this whole situation. How do you witness this thing? West Bengal, which is next to Bangladesh, we have seen this, kind of a rampant influx of, Rohingyas coming into Bangladesh, and over and over again, even the security agencies have flagged this issue. Thus, it has become sort of a breeding ground for terrorists who are looking to infiltrate into India and also inflict a lot of kind of nuisance in the country. So, how do you view this when a sitting MLA of a party says these kind of things out in the public?
See, one thing, Akash, while we had a very successful operation in liberating Bangladesh, the problem is, post the 70 war, the thing is not enough effort was made on illegal immigration, which was, very much part of a Pakistan come Bangladesh propaganda that, we'll have a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in. Now, see, winning a war is out of the question. And in fact, they had egg on their face after they lost the war. So this problem began and it started continuing. Today, it's become a very core vote bank. And if you notice, one thing is, despite the regime in Bangladesh, cracking down as much as it can, I mean, it has not entirely succeeded in cracking down on Islamic terrorism. Groups such as Al Qaeda, Islamic State, which have, this one. Most important, Jamaat-e-Islami and Jamaat-e Mujahideen, Bangladesh, these kind of outfits. Now, what happens is, they have been trying to, gain a foothold in West Bengal for long, one. Okay. And in the thing is, in the process, they bring in a lot of these illegal immigrants also, who become a big, part of the vote bank. You see, not just Trinamool, Congress is this one guilty of it. CPM is also guilty of it. I mean, nobody has really acted upon it because of the vote bank. And now, there is that slow turn which is happening because, when we see such a video, obviously all our, our conscience is shaken up and, it's kind of unheard of. We've only seen them, in these Islamic State, Al Qaeda, or, radical Islamic nations where flogging is, a very regular punishment, that is, even for spitting on the road, people are flogged and things like that. Now, this is a way of, trying to set across a message saying that, we are very seriously working on this concept called of, Shariat law, in which,
Right.
these sort of things are taken. So there is a larger messaging that is involved in it, while I would see it also as a threat to a lot of people within, these particular constituencies, especially the bordering areas, see it as a threat. but it is also a larger message, because there is a huge market, for the implementation of Shariat law. And if you can, do something like this in the open, and the party of the day which is ruling the state has really, taken a while in reacting to it. It is giving them that hope that this is kind of a possibility, because they would like to liberate as many areas as possible, in these bordering states of Bengal and Assam and things like that. So this is just another, I would say that one, it is a mindset which is a dirty mindset of having a radical Islamic culture. It is also very much a marketing tactic, for the youth who think that this is the way forward, the Shariat law. So this is possible, and you must have seen in many cases, what happened in Kerala and all these places, where suddenly the mindset has changed. Don't watch movies, don't wear clothes like this. And so this is another marketing tactic. Thankfully, it is at. If it is not, then the next thing what they will be doing is beheading, which is also very much part of an Islamic state culture.
Right, Vicky. So, in terms of what you're saying is that they're trying to change the demography, and over and over we have seen this on the internet. There are so many people who are from the West Bengal who are a bit right leaning. They are saying that the demography in a lot of these districts that are bordering districts, it has been completely changed. You don't find any Hindus living over there. It is rampantly the demography is being changed, and not just in West Bengal. There are many interior parts of the India where this problem is right now very much persistent. But in terms of West Bengal, being it a state which is bordering to Bangladesh, and then secondly the kind of governance we have seen, from the TMC government, we have seen it is defiant of the central government. If a central agency come, they don't find that kind of a help from the local law and order organizations. So how does one then work in that kind of an environment? So as an expert on internal security, how do you view this? How dangerous, kind of situation are we sitting in West Bengal? Because this is not the first. This might be just the first kind of incident which was videographed and it was shared on social media. And apparently, Kolkata police is very liberal when it comes to the spreading of these viral videos. They will definitely go to Twitter or Facebook or Instagram and will ask the people to take down these videos, rather than taking action on the people who are involved in these videos. So how do you view this, that has Kolkata police also to some extent lost its value when it comes to dealing with law and order situation?
See, the thing is, let me get back to one operation that, research and analysis being carried out in the 70s, in which, all these things were actually spoken about. And there have been, multiple dossiers, compiled by various, very hardworking, honest officers who have spoken about this problem, going to become very, very big in West Bengal. Now, that is the extent up to what the agencies can do. They can report, and but when it ultimately comes down to taking action, it is also there is a political will which is needed. Like many officers say that see you try to take action, and there's every chance of you getting tripped over there, because you're either transferred or you're either demoted or your promotion is held up, and a lot of problems are caused out there. Now, Calcutta police, I wouldn't, pin the entire blame on them. Given a free hand, I'm sure they would react. But then again, they will have to listen to what the state's home ministry or the state's chief minister or the political leader is speaking about. That is also very important. Now, if they are told, like, you target those people who are circulating the videos rather than the person who's actually flogging it, they're bound to listen. And it's a rarity that you will find some kind of an officer who will, go totally against the political will, and, just go solely and, firmly with what the law has to say. And definitely, let me tell you, Akash, if an officer does something of that sort, he will pay the price in a very different way. He'll be posted, in some remote God-forsaken place. There'll be a punishment transfer, there'll be demotion and things like that. So I would basically, not completely blame them also. The thing is, they're just obeying orders. That is one thing. While, it said that both the independent, the judiciary has to be independent, and, the security agencies have to be. But there are also these limitations, because I know that, in states like West Bengal, there is immense amount of political pressure not to act against such elements. This is not the first time it's happening. It's just that what I would say is the degree at which it is happening is only, kind of increasing, day by day. Earlier, it was blast. Earlier, it was, fake currency. Now it's down to flogging. So slowly a push towards, having a more, Islamic state kind of, attitude and nature there, so that, you slowly start, North Parganas, or, Malda, these areas where the problem is, really immense. That is what they're trying to target, basically.
Correct, correct, and yes, you very aptly put that, because there's a pressure on the police from the government. They cannot do anything about it. I totally understand, and I also feel somewhere that after these Lok Sabha elections, the kind of performance the BJP has shown in West Bengal, it has upped its seats. So could be a little bit of frustration also in the TMC party cadre, that how the BJP is kind of expanding into West Bengal. We have seen the same kind of a similar situation after the assembly polls in West Bengal, the kind of violence that took place against the opposition by the TMC.
I look at Bengal as a case a little differently, because I don't think, BJP performed as well as it expected to do. Basically, it was expecting much more.
But I think they did up their numbers a little bit.
They did up their numbers a little bit, but considering the amount of effort that has been put in there and things like that. So while there is an upward, no doubt about it, that is one thing is that such elements, are bound to crop up. In either ways, they would crop up. Had BJP won a majority of the seats, these elements still would have been there. That is one. Even if they had done, worse than what was expected, these elements will still be around, to prove a point. Because you need to understand one thing is that the local political leadership is only looking at this whole thing as a vote bank. The guy who goes and flogs somebody is able to get, 50,000 voters along with him to vote for, either TMC or Congress or CPM or whatever. They're bound to back him on that. But, there is also this larger picture of, it is not going to happen, Akash, but, let's do our level best, because it didn't begin with this. You talk about, a major population, turning Muslim in a lot of parts of this one, and in Bengal. Not all of them are, have got their origins within India. Basically, a lot of them have come, through a lot of, rackets like, fake currency, or smuggling, cattle smuggling, all these things. They made a lot of money. In certain cases, they have outnumbered Hindus because of the large number of illegal immigration. They've gone outright, right, in some cases paid, 3 times the price to buy out land from the Hindus. That is one thing. And in a lot of cases, they've been threatened and Hindus have been driven away and things like that. So it's a small undercurrent which is happening out there. We see how it has blown up in Jammu Kashmir, although it has come largely under control today. But this undercurrent is something that cannot be ignored, and you will have such elements come up, And I won't be too surprised, if this leader is found, flogging somebody. He would be, more than happy if there is a video around there, because it is, done its round. The entire world has got to see it. So I see it also as a marketing gimmick by that person, as I mentioned earlier. Apart from, appeasing the political masters, it's also a marketing gimmick. So, that's how it is working out there.
Right, Vicky. And of course, West Bengal is one issue that we can always talk upon. Another issue that that has been burning for over a year, to be very precise, is the Manipur violence that took place, and we remember in May 2023 how rampantly this whole situation, got out of hand. Though Home Minister Abhi Shah went over there, he talked to a lot of stakeholders. We thought the situation might get a little bit better, but we are a year, more than a year into this whole situation. Still, there is no peace returning to the northeastern state. Though the Prime Minister, spoke about this issue in the Parliament, and in the past also he has spoken about this thing. But he has said this thing that situation is coming back to normal. Peace is coming back to northeast, especially to Manipur, and we are talking to all the stakeholders. But I don't think, because one thing that I've realized is that news of the northeast doesn't come to us that swiftly. If it happens, to be very honest, we can use the term what the people from the northeast use for the rest of the India is like the mainland India. So it doesn't come very swiftly to mainland India. It takes a lot of time for the news from the northeast to travel to India, to us here in New Delhi or wherever our viewers are watching. It takes a lot of time. So I just want to ask you that was the government right in removing AFSPA from Manipur when they saw the situation is a little bit better, and then we saw this whole Pandora box being opened.
See, thing is, now I would say something is like that, removing of the Armed Forces Special Act, that definitely is a welcome step, saying that, your security agencies is not the one which is, controlling the state, but it is, the democratically elected government. But, there are rabble rousers and there are troublemakers who will create, trouble irrespective of what, They could use AFSPA as a reason and, indulge in violence. And now that it has been taken off, they still continue to indulge in violence. That is one thing is there. And also one more thing, Akash, is that when there are democratically elected governments, it is always better to let the local government do its work because it understands the situation better. Because under the union, there are, 20 plus states in which, they have to look after. There's an issue coming up at Jammu Kashmir, there could be something in Telangana and all that. See, the thing is, talks have been made. The PM has spoken about it in the parliament, and looking at the statistics that the PM gave out in the first Lok Sabha session after the election, was that a lot of action has been taken, but that he spoke about the number of cases that have been registered, the attempts that have been made, and things like that. This is something you should also look at it, in terms of. It is an ethnic problem, no doubt about it. It has been, triggered off all of a sudden, and it goes quiet, and then this one, what is that? It comes back in a very bad way and things like that. I also wouldn't rule out, a possibility of external interference in this. That is also something that they will have to look into. It's a long drawn process, and as you rightly pointed out, is that media also is not they don't cover the way northeast is covered like the way the rest of the country is this one. Now if you were to ask me about terror organizations operating in Jammu Kashmir or in southern India, I'll just give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll come out that easily because our primary focus has been on Islamic terrorism, Pakistan, and Afghanistan to a certain extent, and Khalistan movement. These kind of things. A lot of us don't tend to understand what exactly is happening in the northeast and things like that. We can't tell the difference between who's from where. In the sense whether a person from Arunachal Pradesh is from Manipur or Manipur person is from Nagaland and things like that. So we are not able to tell that difference per se. So there is a lot that has been done to be to bring all of them into the mainstream because for a very long time, they were not even seen as Indians. I have a lot of friends who, they called all sort of names, and to bring them into the mainstream, to bring them. Tripura is a classic example. Tripura is a classic example. For years and years, boys, girls from Tripura have been brought into the rest of the country, where they have been educated. You attend these colleges so that you feel that this part of the country is also yours. So acclimatizing all of them is also this one. But Manipur, as I say, is an issue that is going to take longer than expected. You're going to have bouts of violence, and then it is going to go quiet and things like that. I definitely wouldn't rule out, any external, what is that, interference in this, because uh, now you get to see a pattern in it. There is suddenly no news on Manipur, nothing sent to attention,
Right.
and then there is firing again, and then there is these kind of things happening again. So somewhere I think while the center should focus on what kind of external issues should be there, what kind of external issues are kind of controlling the situation out there. The state government and the local government, I think you need to take in all the parties into confidence, sit down across the table and talk instead
Right.
of political issues. Is one.
Right, right. And you said this thing that, we to some extent are also responsible in terms of, not taking that much of interest in the Northeast India. I've seen so many viral videos, on the internet, where a lot of Indians have no knowledge about states like Manipur, Tripura, Nagaland, Sikkim. To some extent, they might be knowing a little bit about Assam because of all the things that come into the news. But apart from that, not that much about the other states of of the Northeast, and also a little to some extent bit of about Arunachal Pradesh. So how does so and of course we also talked about that, why there is this kind of a long lab, gap between news breaking in the Northeast and then coming to our newsrooms here, in New Delhi or wherever people are getting their news at. So why is so? How can we shouldn't the government make some kind of this mechanism, or news agencies should make some kind of a mechanism where they can get these kind of informations about the Northeast, so that people also learn and understand that what are the situations over there, and what is the government doing, because I don't think so a lot of people actually know what kind of work the government is doing. If we talk about Manipur, in most of the Northeast, BJP in 2014 won because of that reason, that they wanted to bring that kind of a development that the rest of the India has seen, but Northeast was still lagging behind, and because of maybe political reasons or whatever the reasons it was. But what we have seen this in 2024 post, what has happened in Manipur. BJP lost. BJP did not win any seats, Lok Sabha seats in Manipur, which could be a signal that okay, you're talking about development, but what about the grassroots level problems that people over there are facing? The basic issue between the Meiteis and the Cookies. How will you resolve this issue? So why is N. Biren Singh government, do you feel, has been a little bit not that proactive in order to you know uh, uh, get this problem sorted? Because when his back was against the wall, he said, "Okay, I'm going to quit."
Yeah, that's that's very true. See, there's one thing is there, like be it Biren Singh or be it any other chief minister. See, the thing is, they are politicians at the end of the day. They also have their own, political compulsions. One, section may be favoring them, one section may not be favoring them. So for them to take a middle path is very, very difficult. Okay, so I mean, difficult in the sense, I mean, it's not impossible. You take it. I mean, there's a better chance that you lose the election next time. So those are compulsions which are there also. That is one part of it. See, and also one more thing is that there are compulsions for political parties in Jammu Kashmir also. There are compulsions for political parties in Kerala, Telangana, anywhere. But we being in the media, we tend to understand these states, much this one. Me more so South India because of my proximity or the fact that I live there, or someone up Delhi, the proximity to Jammu Kashmir that they live there, those kind of. So when it is day in and day out, now if you see an organization like the Resistance Front, which came in and it started killing all the, most of the non-locals, we were able to understand the issue in a jiffy. What exactly is happening? Abrogation of Article 370, make it a free state for anybody within the country to come and this one invest out there. So so threaten the non-locals so that you keep it as one a union territory, which it is now, as only for your self. And of course, yes, with the ample interference with that. Now, when you suddenly ask, me or somebody about, Manipur, or you say Nagaland or something like that, there's a lot of reading I can do, and being on the ground and reporting that, and reading and then speaking about it, there's a lot of difference. Just the way I said that a lot of people from Northeast were brought, to various parts of the country, South India, Delhi. This is also your country. There is this culture here, this culture. I think we should also have similar programs where people from the rest of the country are also taken there, and made to understand. So you can understand what the Kokis want, what the Metis want. Those kind of things. Leaving all politics aside, as I said, politicians will always have their compulsions. They'll give some, they'll take some, and at the end of it, it is a monumental mess at the end of it. So I think the real merger can happen when you remember in college, these exchange programs which used to happen.
Right.
So something like that, more on that basis, if it is there, especially for the media, that is one thing, because they have to understand that is this one. I know of newsrooms, where a reporter from Northeast will be shouting, ye ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai, and then acha chalo theek hai, nahi Jammu Kashmir mein blast ho gaya, let us go there. So that is how the whole thing is viewed at, and that is not going to make it. If the media writes very seriously, this is the problem, this is the interference, from outside, and this is what is happening on the ground. This is the politician who's supporting. Like by heart, if he knows, then there will be more focus there.
Correct, right. So I think, yeah, what you said that that kind of an exchange of culture is a little bit more important. And now that we're living in a society of social media and all those kind of things, though people are trying to are getting to know a little bit more about the Northeast, but now there should be these kind of programs where people from the Northeast come to the mainland and they learn about the culture over there, and also people, and most importantly, people from from northern states and southern states and other states, should go to Northeast and visit those areas and see how beautiful this is, and know a little bit more about their culture and understand there that they are also, though they look a little bit more apart from us, they are like us. They are Indians. They are. But what I have interacted with a lot of people from the Northeast, I feel that they feel proud to be Indians, and much more to the extent that some of us people who live in the north or southern India, we believe they feel a little bit more prouder to be Indians. Well, on that note, thank you very much, Vicky, for joining me on this edition of Defense India podcast. We'll be catching you very soon, and once again, I would like to thank everybody who watch our videos. And once again, I'm a bit sorry for our delay, but we'll be much more active in getting you more these kind of videos in the future. Thank you very much, Mickey, once again for joining me.
Thanks, Akash. Pleasure always.